Romeo checking in here, week 3 review, the second edition. Andrew, how you doing today?
We are vibing. I'd like to start off by saying that this episode is brought to you by the shitty CVS brand of Dayquil NyQuil because I'm poor. It's also brought to you by Pedialyte um, and the Targaryens here. Shout out to the kids for getting me sick. Pieces of shit. Yeah, feeling pretty good coming off of a week high, 157 I dropped. Got the old backdoor on Sean for highest of the week.
Weekly
Felt
high
pretty
runs through
good.
Tisbury.
Red Sutusberry. Yeah, so I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good.
Well, I know you're feeling under the weather. Appreciate you saying you feel well, and glad you can make it out here today. All right, without further ado, let's dive right in. First match of the week. Uh-oh. You want to cover this one?
Yeah, I'd love to cover this one. We had Stefan the Gas, Travis, just absolutely obliterating the AI horses in Romeo. Pretty expected coming in. Travis he's got his number. He's had his number. Moves on to 7-1 now, I believe, against Romeo is the stat. I could be wrong on that. And, he just pedaled to the metal. Didn't help that Romeo decided to leave Brandon Ayuk in. Not sure what the play was there. Cowboys defense, what a fucking shitty game as a Cowboys fan. -2. Derrick Henry, the classic random 2-point spread. So if you're looking for a good bet this week, it might be Derrick Henry over on whatever the rush yards is because he's going to come out balling. Zach Moss absolutely balled. Jerome Ford also balled. So it was a great week for Trav, and he moves on to 2-1. So Trav's looking pretty strong.
Yeah, I mean, Travis just fucking has my number every time. The only thing I'll say is I'm kind of glad that everyone kind of had a bad week, so kind of just get it out of the system. Didn't have a chance, rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah. Romeo, I was just wondering, I know I'm feeling a little under the weather, but I was kind of wondering if you felt at all like Sam Holcomb. Um,
Definitely feeling like Sam Holcomb kind of today.
it's just, as I was watching it, you almost were resembling Marjorie Holcomb. If you put on like a short kind of bowl haircut of red hair, I could have seen it. I could have seen the Marjorie Holcomb. So, but you didn't. So you are Sam Holcomb.
We got that Sam Holcomb energy,
So
unfortunately, but we're
that
hoping we're feeling like Anthony Romeo again next week and bringing the boom with the horses.
I'm actually hoping that that's not true. But Romeo, your flop of the week, aka Sam Holcomb. So if you're gonna add him in the chat, just call him Sam.
I resigned myself to this punishment for the week. All right, game number 2 we had VJ and Bellis. Pretty one-sided match. VJ, after the draft, I was with him in person, and he was not happy. He was happy we had the draft in person and said, didn't care how the season went. The in-person draft was awesome, but this is the worst team I've had in a couple years. He was projected 12th on the ESPN ratings, dead last. He has moved to 2. His team is cooking. I mean, the guys weren't cooking early on, but this last week, I look at the lineup, and it's not a ton of guys that I'm initially super scared of, but I mean, Drake London's looking pretty good as wide receiver 1 for Atlanta. You got Jerry Jeudy. I know the Broncos got blown out. I'm expecting a kind of big bounce back game for them this week, so I think he'll be pretty all right moving forward. And then Jags, tough loss, but Travis Eden still manages to produce. I mean, McCaffrey and Mahomes, just to be expected, dominant performances. But Bellis, his team is not looking great. He has had a tough start, 1-2. Normally, Bellis is a scary team to beat, but it's a 1-2 team that looks like a 1-2 team. He is definitely going to need to make some moves to turn this team around. I had a tough time with the -2 Cowboys D, but -4 for the Jags. Yikes.
Yeah, I just don't know where Bellis goes from here. He's got some talent at wide receiver, so I would imagine he's going to be trying to flip them. You just had Thielen coming off a big week, 11 receptions for 145 yards and a tutter. On the bench, by the way. Not that that would have mattered. VJ just dropped the hammer on him. But you got to imagine he can't trust Breece Hall for the rest of this season, putting up these inconsistent numbers, and just Zach Wilson sucks a fat cock. So he's got to make some kind of move, and I don't know who's going to trade with him. I would say George, but I believe they're matched up this week, so it's looking like no move is going to be made for Bellis, and he's just going to ride on and hope for a win. But 1-3 is a scary place, Bellis. Scary place.
Yeah, might have to move Cup for some win now. Two guys that are better, maybe worse long term, but try to avoid that punishment.
That's facts. That's facts.
All right, moving on to matchup number 3. You want to take this one?
Oh yes, yes, would love that. Let me just pull that up here. So we had the Kamish and Debo's Doobies. Kamish, we said it before. He's just looking good. He decided to bench Burrow. Burrow coming off the calf, still not 100%. You don't really know what's going on. Bengals have sucked. Started Mac Jones. I just feel like George is such a Mac Daddy guy. Like he's just such a classic. Like Mac Jones and tight ends. It's George Logan. That's all you say. But solid week, got the win. Nothing special. Just grinded it out. Aiden had once again another kind of off week. Had to start Miller at running back because Saquon and Montgomery are out. Could not pull the trigger on any trades. So Aiden's gonna bounce back, but he needs to recover from some injuries. That's about it.
Yeah, if I was a fantasy player, I would not be thrilled if Aiden picks me up on waivers because looking like an injury.
Yeah.
All right, matchup number 4 with the high score of the week, dominant performance after the 0-2 start. Looking like the team to beat moving forward. Tyrell destroyed Billy. And I got to say, I think Billy was like second highest score going into the week. I thought he had a pretty good team, pretty scary. Didn't have a great week, but man, what a statement, blowing him out. And managed to... Evan McPherson on Monday night managed to edge out Sean and take the weekly high. The weekly high runs through Tisbury, boys. Just looking at going across your team, James Cooks has looked great. Kyron Williams, again, the possibly a season-winning waivers move. Jamar Chase, second pick, need we say anymore. Devontae Adams he's been cooking. Like Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams as 2 wide receivers is lethal.
It was a
Mark
great
Andrews,
1-2 pick.
great tight end too. Garrett Wilson, I know the Jets haven't been great, but he's looked spectacular. Your team just top to bottom are a bunch of studs, and you have some deep bench depth. Like Miles Sanders still producing. Nico Collins had himself a little bit, or I guess a down week, but your team looks very, very poised to win.
Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with the team's performance out there. The Evan McPherson, I owe that guy. I should just Venmo him $5 and be like, hey man, I know this ain't much, but like it was honest work out there. You got me $25 this week. It feels pretty good. I can't believe I edged Sean out on that one. And again, Billy's team was not healthy, so you plug in Austin Eckler instead of Josh Kelly in there. That's another at least 20 points probably. So when Billy's at full strength, he's definitely a threat. But I had a good week. Bill's defense for 31 was pretty tight.
Yeah, Tua on that bench, on the board.
He's looking to deal. Did he trade him this week? I can't. I gotta look that up while we.
I have not. I don't know if I've seen a move go through yet, but.
Okay.
All right, matchup number 5, Paul and Barry. What are your thoughts on how this one went?
Yeah, this was the tightest one of the week there for sure. James is probably going to drive to McDaniel's house and just murder him. I don't know what to say. Why would you go for a field goal? Like, I think that Paul paid him off personally. He said, "Look, man, I just need Dan Carlson for one." And McDaniel's looked at the clock. He looked at the scoreboard. He's like, "We're down 8. We definitely should go for this." And he goes, "But I talked to Paul Burdick, and he told me he needs a field goal, and we haven't gotten Dan one." So they send out Carlson. He hits a 40-yarder, and Barry loses by 2 instead of winning by 2, and that is just the crippling fantasy. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's a terrible loss for Barry and a phenomenal win for Peen and the Dream Team. So shout out to Paul.
Yeah, I think when we previewed this last week, I said if they're going to win, Kittle will have a big week, and he had an all right week, but it It is like Paul, great win, and Tyreek Hill 26 points, nothing to scoff at. As a Dolphins fan, when you see the Dolphins put up 70 and Tyreek Hill doesn't cover your anytime 2 touchdown parlay, it is just tough. So like 26 is a lot, but if I was Paul, I would be a little sad. It honestly wasn't even more, and I wasn't in the high contention with Miami in the 70 piece.
For sure, for sure.
All right, and the final match for the week, where we thought it was looking good for Sean as the weekly high, but you kind of snuck in and backdoored. And I mean, what a tough start for Fuller going 1-2. He third highest points for this week. Dominant performance. His guys did great. The only two people he would have lost to are you and Sean, and unfortunately, that's just how the cookie crumbles for Fuller, seemingly year after year.
Yeah.
Lamar had a pretty decent week. James Conner had a pretty good week. Tank Dell, I think he picked him up on waivers, if I recall. He's been looking pretty good, but, I mean, the Finns, where Tyreek Hill isn't getting 2 touchdowns, Raheem Mostert was. And it is, man, Raheem Mostert and Justin Jefferson as a 1-2 is just looking pretty intimidating.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Devin Achane comes in, Achane, however you say his last name. Like, is he going to steal some touches from Mostert? I don't know, but Mostert's certainly not going to continue to get 41 points a game here. But I think that for Fuller, he's probably frustrated. Obviously, it's tough. You put up 130 and lose, but I think we got to see some production from Jahmyr Gibbs. What's going on in Detroit? David Montgomery was out, and Gibbs is still only getting 80 yards, no tutters for the rookie out of Alabama. He's got to be looking for some production coming up, and I think that getting James Conner, I think that trade was really good for him. He also did get Cortland Sutton, who was on the bench. I don't know where he would really plug and play, maybe for Terry McLaurin, depending on the week and who the defenses are playing. But Fuller's team is definitely no joke. It's a tough start at 1-2, so we'll see how he kind of bounces back. Because once again, 1-3, that's kind of the witching hour to start fantasy. So.
I just noticed, love Kyler Murray on the IR for Fuller.
Oh, yeah, it's a great pickup, dude. Managers manage. He still has Leonard Fournette, just keeping him as a free agent, stashing him in the spot, I respect it.
Sweet. All right, so I think that covers this week's games.
Yep. I got one thing, though. There was one trade that went down after I searched it up.
Lay it on me.
The only trade was the Allen Armada acquired DK Metcalf for George Pickens and Sam Laporta. This was so I forgot. Nick Bellis did make a trade. He knew he had to make a move. He got Sam Laporta and George Pickens and gave up DK Metcalf. So that is exactly what we said. He's got to move a wide receiver, and he's got to pick up something. So picking up a nice, good tight end. We'll see. If George's bet hits tonight on Laporta. It was a great hedge bet by George, just betting against Laporta, being like, I'd rather lose $5 and win fantasy or win fantasy and lose $5. So, it was a good move by George to hedge that, and that's a good trade for Bellis, and that should actually help the squad a little bit.
All right, I've got a quick segment for you. It is a little bit of a stock market thing. Quarterback stocks, if you think these guys are rising or falling. All right? I didn't prep you on these guys. I want your first take on these. What inspired this is my roommate's girlfriend has Joe Burrow in a league, and has just been all around disappointed. And I was kind of like, he's got a calf injury. What do we expect? But what do you think, Joe Burrow so far? A little bit of a weak season. We think he's going to bounce back and be big? Or do we think the Bengals just kind of punt on this season and try to get a draft pick for next year?
I don't see them folding at all. Joe Shiesty, dude, this man, I want to see him. Like, all I picture Joe Shiesty as is having his cigar. Hey, Dorothy, nope. Nope. We're in the middle of something.
I don't care.
Are you serious?
You didn't remind me to edit my lineup, but don't worry, because I squeezed in before 8:15 p.m. And guess how many questionable people you have on your team? You've got like 6 questionable people on your team, so expect a big fat loss.
Shots fired.
Okay. So I'm playing Dorothy in fantasy this week in my other league.
You remind me.
I told you to pick up Devin a chain. You just got a huge pickup. But yeah, I'm not going to tell you to put him in. Anyway, I picture Joe Shiesty as LSU puffing a cigar post-national championship. That motherfucker's not going down to a calf strain, okay? If he misses a week or something, it is what it is. But he's coming back. He's going to be slinging to Jamar Chase. Joe Mixon had a nice productive week this week, so I think that the Bengals are on the up. I think that Joe Burr's on the up. I think it was a rough start for him, but I see him as that stock's rising for sure.
You got Jamar Chase, I got T. Higgins, so I like where your head's at, and I'm hoping the best for Joe Burrow as well. All right, quarterback number 2, a little one close to my home. Tua has been playing out of his mind. I put up like 30-something points this week and got benched after the first half because he was so unbelievable. Is Tua going to be able to keep up this production, or is he going to come back down a little bit to earth, you think, in the next couple weeks?
He might come back down, but I don't see him like not producing. I see the Dolphins as a high-powered offense, especially like you're gonna have Jeff Wilson coming back too. So you got 3 running backs that are just kind of interchangeable, and then you've got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. Like you just have threats out the wazoo. Like I don't see, unless his head hits the turf again and he goes concussed and just passes the fuck out. I don't see him slowing down too much. I see him as still up.
All right, and the last one I got for you, the closest to home, both on your team and your favorite team, Dak Prescott didn't look great. I see that you have Russell Wilson in right now and not Dak Prescott. You think, is that a sign? Where do you think he's going?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to. The Cowboys just fucking suck. I hate being a Cowboys fan, guys. It really sucks. I just catch shit, even though my team sucks every year. We have a couple good weeks, and then all the asshole fans come out and are like, "It's our year," and then I have to catch shit for it. I love Dak as a person. We have a great offensive line. We have some weapons as receivers. I just don't know what's going on there, but what I see this week is a stout New England defense. I see Bill Belichick, who just kind of knows his way around the fucking gridiron in his cutoff sweatshirt. And so I'm just nervous to throw him out there. And I see Russell Wilson playing at Chicago, both in need of a bounce-back game. Russ has been playing all right. Chicago's secondary is not the best. And when we get to our betters section, Remio, we'll talk a little bit more about that. But I see Russell Wilson as a better quarterback than Dak Prescott right now for this week specifically. I hope Dak bounces back, but right now his stock is a little low for me. Yeah.
And so that brings us to the first matchup we're going to be covering, the Tisbury Bowl. Happens more than twice a year, or more than once a year typically, and we don't play each other in the regular season twice. A couple of finals appearances. Pretty prestigious game. I got to say, I want revenge from last year, and I thought last year when we were playing, I thought my team looked good. I was feeling pretty confident. I feel like I had the projected. Your team right now looks terrifying. I just look top to bottom, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I would love to have that guy on my team.
Yeah, talk a little more about that. Hold on, I just got to blow my nose real quick.
blow the nose with the good old the trophy. I see. Well played. Yeah, pretty good. I gotta say, I think on there we had the 2 closest matches. I think most of them have been blowouts, and I think the closest was last year. I think the second closest was the previous year. So.
It feels good to have this. Yeah, sorry. It's going to be a good week. I don't know. I mean, I just don't believe the projections at all. My team is going to be projected high every week, but what's tough about being projected high is that, 16.4 for Jamar Chase. I don't know if he's even hit that once so far this year. He's been undervalued. 20 for Devontae Adams. Like, he's been cooking, but a good week of 14 I'm pretty happy with. That's going to be below projection, you know what I mean? So
honestly,
projection means nothing in this one at this point, but
this one really might come down to Joe Burrow and who he decides to throw to. And
that's actually facts.
If he gets Chase like 2 tutters, that means Higgins is not getting 2. That's probably game. I think if it goes the other way, where Higgins gets a couple touchdowns, it means Jamar isn't. I mean, Jamar can also get you a ton of yards. So, but this one might come down to who Joe Burrow decides to play favorites with.
That's facts. That's facts. It's going to be a good one. May the best man win. Shout out to
Amen.
Tisbury
Best
Road.
of luck. Hopefully the high still runs through Tisbury.
I hope so.
All right, matchup number 2. We've got VJ against Travis. And both teams 2-1, important for both. VJ's team, again, I think I said it earlier, but his team is looking great. I know he wasn't super happy with his team. Big manager move. You see him playing there. Arcane, I should know it because I'm a Miami fan, but when was there ever a time where 2 running backs would combine for near 100 points? Unbelievable. Blowing 900 fab. And I know some people were giving shit for him in the chat. I put up quite a bit too, and I feel like I should have gone 901. I think that this could, like, obviously if he starts losing reps to some of the other running backs, it looks like a huge flop and could lose. But if he produces half as much as he did last week, could be a series winning move. So pretty good matchup. Trav had my number again, and his team is also looking pretty good. But I think VJ Chalk is looking like it might have the edge in this one. You might be muted.
I am muted because we had a massive dog party, so I muted myself for a bit. I thought $900 was bananas, but if it turns out to be a massive W, then I'll just shut the fuck up. But $900 seems wild. But I loved watching the waiver claims. Like somebody put in 748. I saw like there were a whole bunch of waiver claims for like massive amounts of dollars, and they're probably happy to have that money in their pockets, I would guess. So
We'll have only time will tell. All right, matchup number 2. We've got Bellis against the Commish, a soccer showdown. Who do you like here?
That is so funny because that's exactly what I wanted to say. I was going to be like a couple of soccer guys just going head to head. Like that's just I just think of them both in high school just balling on the soccer field together. This is a big matchup for Bellis. I'm just telling him I think he should change his name. But first game with Sam Laporta starting in about 10 minutes actually, and we did throw a little parlay together, including Sam Laporta, just like George did on the hedge bet. And we got Aaron Jones going tonight. So if he has a big night from both of those guys, he's got a chance. But he really needs a win this week, and he needs to win just 1, maybe 2 more before Cup comes back. Is Cup coming back next week? What do they got?
Yeah, I heard week 5, which would be
week
next
5,
week.
Which would be next week. So if he can squeak this out and be 2-2 and get Cup back, then I think he's in good shape. But if he goes to 1-3, it just hurts the chances quite a bit to make the playoffs. So
I totally hear you. The one thing I would say is Cup is coming back, but Cup is only going to take touches away from Puka, who Bellis has. So, like, obviously I'd take Cup over Puka, but how much upside are you really getting there?
Wow, I didn't even think of that, dude. Fucking intellect. Yeah, that's tough. Maybe Bellis should trade one of those guys. I don't know. We'll see what he does. But Kamish looking strong. We'll see if DeAndre Swift can keep up that energy that he had this week. And AJ Brown as well. Kodak, holy fuck.
All right, matchup number 4 for next week. We've got Aiden and Paul, a couple of dunkers going at it over here. And Paul, this looks like one of the best teams Paul has had in years. And I'm not just saying that because he has the Dolphins defense and Tyreek Hill, but his guys have just been going. I think George Kittle has been looking great, and he had a pretty decent week last week. I think we got A.J. Dillon a little bit Thursday night action, and I'm high on the Seahawks. I think that they're pretty good, but Aiden also has not had a terrible team. I know he's been dealing with a couple of injuries. Saquon out is tough. He had the Ravens running back. I'm blanking on the name, but he has just been
Dobbins.
J.K.
And he had Montgomery out for like 2 weeks too. So Montgomery's back now, but he
got Montgomery back. And I think the Washington, did he make a trade here? Has he had him? I feel like he's been producing, sneaking into the end zone a couple times.
Yeah, he had B-Rob, and that's why he texted. He was like, "It looks like B-Rob's the guy." So
yeah.
He was pumped about that. I mean, when he gets Saquon back, his team is very solid, actually. But
yeah, he's just got to weather the storm.
Got to weather the storm. Anthony Richardson, too, is kind of a dog. This dude is just like throwing his body around, catching concussions, and getting rushing touchdowns. So.
Yeah, we got that'll definitely be an exciting one. All right, Billy and Sean, what are you thinking?
Billy and Sean, dude, just a couple of grinders out here. These are two of the higher projected teams. Sean going with Danny Legs at QB. I thought he was a CJ Stroud guy through and through, but I guess he's a little scared of Pitt's defense. So Danny Legs, Danny Dimes getting the start for him. We'll see if Austin Eckler actually is back because they have a bye week 5. I was reading that they may sit him again. So if that's the case, I think Sean pulls it out. If Eckler plays, I think Billy B can hit the bunnies, get the dub, walk out of there. But it's gonna be a tight one. It's gonna be a barn burner.
Yeah, I had again Dolphins homer in me, but Tua on the bench. We'll see if that pays off for him. And the final matchup that we have is we got James Berry and Matty Fuller, an absolute classic. I'm sure they have already started exchanging blows. The trash talk has been flying. Berry's looking great. Fuller's projected is looking pretty low. Had a great week after losing Chubb. Fuller's 1-2, but God, he has been absolutely managing and trying to scramble and make the best out of a bad situation. So we'll see. I'm wishing Fuller some luck here. I think that Tank Dell might have a big week, just a little bit of a flyer. I think you mentioned it earlier, but I think Gibbs is due to produce. We'll see in 5 minutes or so if he does so or not. But Barry's team is also scary. You and Barry might be the two teams that I am most scared of. Just Travis Kelce, obviously tight end 1. Josh Allen, any week can go for a bajillion. Joe Mixon and Kamara is coming back. 2 solid moves. I mean, we'll see.
Barry made a phenomenal managerial move. Number 1, drafting Alvin Kamara, who's playing first game this week.
He made a trade for him, right?
He made the trade for Joshua Kelly, which he spent $688 on. So that was a great move. The other move he just made was he acquired DK Metcalf and traded Sam Laporta, which was another great draft stash because he had already picked Kelsey. So he took the risk on the rookie Sam Laporta. He waited 3 weeks. He had 3 good fucking weeks. And, hey, he might tank the rest of the season. He may be selling him high. He might even be selling him low. Laporta might just keep going. But acquiring DK Metcalf on that Seattle team that just, it's either a punch touchdown from Kenneth Walker or he's slinging it deep to Lockett, or he just fucking gets 11 fucking receptions from DK Metcalf. So that was a huge pickup to have him and Keenan Allen, and now he's got Kamara in the lineup. Like, his team is looking very nice. So this is a tough matchup for Fuller once again, and this just might be the season that like Fuller just gets fucking dogged out and ends up with a shitty record and misses the playoffs even though his team's fucking legit. But I think we got to see Gibbs find the end zone for him this week, and if he doesn't, I mean, it's just crazy in my opinion. But he's got Sutton starting at wide receiver 2 for him and going Tank Dell at the flex. I like that a lot. Sitting Terry McLaurin against Philly, probably a good move. So,
yeah, must win for both teams, I'd say. I mean, it's pretty early, but going 1-3.
It's always a must win, but that 1-3 is a dark place. It's a dark place.
All right, so that covers this week. But before we let everyone go, we have, of course, an absolutely chalked parlay. And Tyler, let me tell you a little bit about this parlay. First of all, we've got Denver Broncos against the Bears, and I mean, both have had absolutely awful seasons. You're talking about 6 losses between the two, haven't even snipped a win. Broncos coming off a 70-something loss. Doesn't even matter, they weren't getting a 70. Bears, what is a redeeming quality as a Bears fan? These two, both teams, season on the line, they need statement games. Who's going to win? I don't have a fucking clue. They're both terrible, but I think they're going to score. Defenses haven't looked great. The Broncos' defense has not been cooking. Bears spent a ton of money, ton of effort trying to get Justin Fields some weapons on offense. Let's see it. We're taking the over there. After that, we've got the Steelers-Texans. Oh, locked me out. And Steelers-Texans, well, Steelers might not have looked as great as they have were projected maybe early on, but I think that their defense has been legit. And you've got the Texans, you've got a rookie at quarterback. Can he overcome the Steelers' deep? I do not think so. It is Steelers minus 2.5. Just laying a field goal. Texans are just not good. They want to get draft picks. They're not looking to win this season. They know that they're not great. Absolutely a lot. Third pick of the week, we have Dallas Cowboys. They are projected 6.5-point favorites over the Patriots. We are teasing that down to 2.5. Tyler is a Cowboys fan. He always gets flacked, and I know we're all dogging the Cowboys. Ha ha ha! They lost to the Cardinals. They are at home. They are against the Patriots. I know we got some Pats fans here. If the Cowboys lose, they are in deep trouble. They had Super Bowl aspirations. This is a must-win. You cannot lose back-to-back as heavy favorites to two teams that are probably not going to make the playoffs. Absolute lock. Not the full 6.5. We're still a little scared out the count. 2.5. Absolute lock. And finally, at night, at MetLife, Jets have looked tough, and I know they're going against the Chiefs. We're not taking the Jets. I'm sorry, Travis. We are taking the Chiefs. I heard Taylor Swift is going to be in attendance. You're telling me Taylor Swift in the Big Apple at MetLife. The Chiefs are going for a ton. The line is 9. We're not going to do the 9. The Chiefs are notorious for not covering the spread. We're teasing this down to 6.5. How do the Chiefs not win with Taylor Swift in attendance in New York by a touchdown? Tyler, what don't you love about this bet?
I love every second of it. Yeah. Bet the mortgage on it.
So you heard it here. Lock it in. Next week we'll get it earlier, and we'll have some Thursday night action so we can get everyone juiced all days. But that is our pick of the week, and thank you guys for being with us. Second one, week 3. Tyrell, any closing remarks?
If you're interested in joining us, we can fit a nice third head box in the top right corner. It would be phenomenal to have some of the boys on, talk about some fantasy, and just vibe out. So shoot Romeo and I a message.
Let's get some guests on here. Tyrell, best of luck. I hope you either win the high or get absolutely slaughtered by me. So,
Same to you, Romes.
Hope you feel better and hope that NyQuil kicks in for you.
Oh, yeah, I'll be taking that right now. Good night.